Mahabharata, Episode 1. Dhritarashtra and Pandu were both brothers and heirs to the royal throne of Hastinapura. Though older, Dhritarashtra was born blind, and so, when the time came for a new king to be crowned, it was assumed that Pandu would ascend the throne. However, owing to an unfortunate curse which had been placed upon him by a sage, Pandu would be unable to fulfill this royal duty. And so, together with his two wives, Kunti and Madri, retired to the forest to lead a life of penance and austerity. Dhritarashtra duly assumed the throne and would be guided and aided in the affairs of state by his grandfather, Bhishma, and minister Vidura. Bhishma was a venerated warrior, having performed more than 300 Ashwamedha Yajnas, considered to be one of the most complex and difficult yajnas there was. He was the biological son of Mother Ganga herself and was proficient in the martial arts. He had taken a terrific vow many years before, renouncing his own claim to the throne. As Swami explains, Bhishma was a bhakta, and by winning the Lord's grace, he was clothed with more majesty and splendor than any early emperor. Dhritarashtra's wife, Gandhari, had herself taken a vow of blindness in support of her husband's condition and would voluntarily remain blindfolded for as long as they would be married. She and Dhritarashtra would bear 100 sons, the eldest of whom was Duryodhana. Together, the sons would come to be called the Kauravas. Mahabharata, Episode 1 continued. In the forest, Pandu and his wives lived peacefully. Kunti was actually the sister of Vasudeva, biological father of Krishna, and she was therefore aunt to the Avatar. As a young girl, Kunti came to receive a sacred boon from sage Durvasa that would allow her to bear children with the same qualities of the deity she meditated on at that time. This would be invoked via a mantra that he instructed her to chant at the time she was ready to have children. However, in her excitement, she invoked the mantra the moment she received it, meditating on Lord Surya, who at once appeared before her and blessed her with a son who was born then and there. As she was not married, she felt her only option would be to surrender the infant in the hopes of him finding a new home. Placing him in a sealed box, Kunti let the box afloat in a river. The box was soon discovered by a charioteer and his wife, who would raise him as their own. He would be known as Karna, and would remain unaware of his royal heritage until much later in the story, playing a key and pivotal role in the events that would unfold. Back in the forest, Pandu asked Kunti to once again invoke the sacred mantra, meditating on a different deity each time. She bore 3 sons, the eldest of whom was Yudhishthira, known for his wisdom and even temperament; Bhima, known for his incredible physical strength; Arjuna, known as the best archer in the world and whom Swami himself would describe as the best among men. Kunti taught the same mantra to Madri, who begot twins, Nakula, who was skilled in Ayurveda and swordsmanship, and Sahadeva, who was considered even by Yudhishthira to be the most intelligent of them. In this way, Pandu became the notional father of 5 sons, who were collectively known as the Pandavas. Mahabharata, Episode 1, continued. One day, the curse that was placed upon Pandu took effect and he passed away, followed shortly by the death of Madri. The Pandava brothers and Kunti left the forest and duly returned to Hastinapura, where the brothers came under the protection and care of their grandfather Bhishma. Bhishma lovingly nurtured them as a father would, and appointed for them the same teachers as the Kauravas to mentor them in the fine skills of warriorship and combat. These teachers included Kripacharya and Dronacharya, highly acclaimed and decorated role models of excellence on the battlefield. The Pandavas all learnt and displayed the highest level of skill in various forms of weaponry and combat, with Arjuna in particular shining in his archery skills. This brought even more fame to his mentor Dronacharya, which in turn angered Drona's son Ashwatthama. A lifelong resentment would grow between the boys, and Swami explains that overall the animosity between the Pandavas and Kauravas would only be transcended by the wise and gentle Yudhishthira, who was able to truly rise above it. One day, Drona announced a contest to test the skills of his pupils, and both the elite royalty and general public were invited to witness the proceedings. One by one, the young princes were called upon to display their skills. But when it came to the turn of Arjuna, there appeared in the arena a mysterious intruder who dared to challenge him and actually displayed equal skill as Arjuna in archery. The intruder was none other than Karna, still unaware of his relation to the Pandava brothers. Feeling deeply insulted, Arjuna accepted Karna's challenge, but Drona intervened to say that a prince could only fight another royal prince. Karna, believing that he was the son of a charioteer, felt deeply pained at his exclusion based simply on his so-called commoner status. And it is here that we encounter the first of many plot twists which shape the events that followed. Duryodhana came forward to extend his support and patronage to Karna. On the spot, he made Karna the king of Anga, a territory which lay within the kingdom of Dhritarashtra. It was an act that etched in the mind of Karna his lifelong loyalty to Duryodhana and the Kauravas, one that would shape his destiny and make him one of the most memorable characters the story has to offer. Despite his eligibility to now fight Arjuna, their fight would not take place, for the sun had set and the day's proceedings were declared concluded.